Welcome back. This is ENCA Now. I want to take you live to the Western Cape. Raging fires have destroyed hundreds of homes in George and surrounding areas in the province. More than 800 people so far have been displaced. Disaster management teams still battling the blaze, which has been burning for several days now. Some areas are being evacuated. Standing by for us in Cape Town from the organisation Working on Fire, Trevor Abrams, good afternoon to you and thank you. As we speak then this lunchtime, what is the position now? Is this fire or fires any closer to being brought under control?
Good afternoon, Jeremy. The fires in George is falling under the George municipality and is still raging. In fact, as we speak, the precautionary evacuation of Blanco, Golden Valley and Stepaside has been ordered by the municipality in George. And we have 100 firefighters from the Working of Firefighters who are joining other municipalities and other resources in combating the fire. The Outeniqua Pass is also been closed to traffic, so it's still quite a precarious situation.
What about the George Airport?
No, it's quite away from the George Airport. It's actually up on the mountains. It's affecting, obviously the passes there, and it's starting to encroach on human settlements down on the slopes at this point in time.
I'll tell you why I ask about George Airport. We did receive some unconfirmed reports earlier saying that the smoke in the area was so dense that this might have had an impact on flights, but you're saying that the airport is not affected. Does this have the potential to spread quickly?
It does have the potential to spread, although we're hoping, as the weather's forecasting, that we're going to have some colder and certainly wetter weather coming that way by tomorrow. And quite a bit of effort has been going into laying what we call back burns, where we actually do preventative burning to spread, to limit the spread. So we are hoping that that will actually contain itself. The one area that we are worried about at the moment is the spread into the Witfontein forest area, which is to the west side of George. And that's the one that's actually affecting the Blanco areas at the moment.
I guess around about this time of the year, these things could be described as seasonal, but having looked at some of the video footage and the pictures earlier today, I'm also sensing, Trevor Abrams, this is way beyond that. This is perhaps bigger than that area has seen in a long time.
Well, I'm not sure this is quite seasonal. In fact, typically we see the Western Cape fire season starting off in about December. We're now in October, and if any indications are that we're having the effects of climate change, I think the fires we had at Vermaaklikheid last week and these fires are indicative, and certainly the temperatures that we're experiencing, indicative of the kind of impact of global warming that's happening to us. And it's a bit unusual. In fact, in our case, we are mobilizing teams from outside the Western Cape because Western Cape is not seen as being in the fire season yet, typically. Of course, the fire doesn't necessarily behave that way anymore. And then we're having to, in fact, combat major blazes now in October already.
Could this have the potential, if it's not brought under control, and we hope that the cooler weather maybe dampens things down tomorrow, could this have the potential of what we saw in Knysna a year or so ago?
I'm not thinking it's the same because, Knysna had a bit of a perfect storm. You'll remember the storm that came through in June, on the 6th of June, was said the worst storm in 30 years. So I'm not sure we're predicting anything near the winds that we had there, which was a major element in spreading the fire. And I think the teams that have been working there through the night and yesterday have done a sterling job in setting in some backburns and burning out areas to limit the spread of the fire. So quite a bit of the area of human habitation has been protected already. It's just going in one area where we haven't actually contained it at this point in time, but it's not likely to have a similar scenario to Knysna.
At what point do you determine the exact cause of this?
The exact cause, that's really something that comes quite late. I mean, right now the priority is to actually combat the blaze, and one of the problems we have, and in your early question, is that a combination of cloud and smoke is making it absolutely impossible to mobilize all our aerial resources. So we've got 2 UE helicopters, 2 fighter bombers, 2 spotters, and the Air Force's O-rings. And at the moment, we've only been able to deploy the spotter and O-rings at this point in time. So we're actually being limited in terms of our aerial combat capacity by virtue of the kind of meteorological conditions we're experiencing there with the smoke and the haze.
And just finally, on the front line are the firefighters themselves, true heroes, not only today, but also Knysna, that we spoke about a little earlier. How are they coping?
The firefighters are doing quite well. I mean, this is what they train for. And in a sense, they relish the opportunity to show their capability. For us, it's very important that we ensure we have the support around them, particularly in terms of nourishment and accommodation, and being able to rotate them in, because it's quite hazardous conditions, very hot and very strenuous. So our job is to try and also support the frontline firefighters in terms of providing that kind of support. And this is something I feel very proud. I addressed a team at Riversdale today who had been busy with the Vermaaklikheid fires, and they certainly appreciate the recognition they get from their contribution to the community.
Appreciate your time, Trevor Abrams, working on fire in Cape Town for us. Now,